So when I do eyes, really with anything, you always want to start light to dark. That way everything blends. So I'm going to start with my light powder shade. Even though I did the primer, anything that's a cream or liquid, you have to then set with the powder. So that's what we're doing here, doing the base, the powder base. And when I do my shadow base, like my lighter color, I like to start from the brow arch and then work down. Because if I get too much powder on the eyelid, then you're not going to get as much of the color, like saturation. I really love this to be cleaned up and defined. And then I like the blend into the crease, because that way everything, like when you do your crease color, it's going to be smooth. And whatever's left over ends up on the lid. Not much, just a little something. So that way everything lays right. Next is crease color, more of like a transition color. So I'll use kind of like a lightish pink today. Find some good light. And a lot of times I'll just tilt my head back so that way the eyes relax a bit. Also, when I'm doing like anything with glitter or a lot of fallout, if you tilt your head back, you can prevent a lot of that fallout. So sometimes I'll actually like be looking all the way up, like hold my mirror up here and be looking all the way up there if I'm doing glitter, so it doesn't fall so much on the face. But you could also just wait to do your foundation after, but I didn't do that today, so I will be mindful of not having too much fallout. I'm gonna make my eyes larger, so I'm really focusing the darker shades on the outer half of the eye. And I love getting, like, I'm not shy with the brush at all. It's okay to get messy, you can always clean it up. And in the end, when you really work with all the space and room you have, then it looks best. You can always clean up around the eye, contour around the eye with the concealer and clean the look up that way. But, you know, you really bring out your eyes when you work like with the space rather than just trying to stay small. It doesn't do much for the eyes. Some red in the crease. Oh, you know what? I don't think I did primer underneath. I'm going to do that because I definitely want to bring my shadows down. I especially love, so I have hooded eyes, and people always think hooded eyes are the worst eyes. I don't think so. I love working on hooded eyes. It's just being comfortable with certain things. So I feel like we actually do pull off smoky eyes really well. You know, like especially the lower smoke. Like I feel lucky that I don't have to do as much liner and stuff if I don't want to. Because of the hooded eye, it's actually like liner and stuff, less is more. And then I can then just do more of like a drop shadow or like a messy liner under here, and it looks really good with hooded eyes. So don't think that you're limited. In fact, you can actually have more when you play more when you have hooded eyes. Exaggerate more. Because that's one thing I noticed, like in pictures, if I don't work big, it looks like I don't have anything on. And, you know, hooded eyes, things hide a little bit since the lids come down. And so red looks really scary if you don't have some liner, something to kind of ground it. So you definitely want some kind of liner when you work with reds. Definitely want lashes. So yeah, always working light to dark. So I started with the lighter colors, slowly built into the deeper, more pigmented shades, and that way everything really pops. I love to save the lid for last because then it looks nicer, it looks cleaner. If you're doing a smoky look, you could start with the lid first. Kind of depends what look you're doing, but I really want whatever I put on my lid to pop. So I'm going to save that for last. And, you know, a lot of times I'll do a little concealer or something to reshape the lid, especially with these eyes, since I don't really have much of a lid once I look straight out. So the palette I used so far, it's the Tarteist Pro palette. And I use pretty much the third row down, which has like the pink tones. I still haven't gone into the darker shades on the end of that, or the duochrome shade on the end there. Now I'm going into this really old palette I got it during holiday. It's a Smashbox palette. So they don't even have those colors separate anymore. They used to have singles. But yeah, so pretty much these aren't really colors that you'll know, that you'll see. I'm using a shimmery shade. I don't always use shimmer in the crease. Depends what I'm doing, but since we're having a little more fun, anything goes today. But yeah, this is the way I like to work all the time. I'm like, don't really like to have a plan. Let's just go with the flow.